Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taya and this is Taya's Turning Pages. So as you can tell by the title of today's video, I'm going to go over all of the books that I hope to read in February. Now you might have noticed that I didn't film a January TBR/hopefuls video, and that was really just because I was trying to inch my way back into the book world and the book community, and I didn't want to overwhelm myself with a specific set of books. I really wanted to just let my mood reading shine through in the month of January. I'm happy that I did that because I was able to get through a decent amount of books considering the fact that I was in a huge slump for the remainder of 2023. I feel like with me calling these videos TBR videos means that I need to stick to the script and I need to really stay within these confines of those books. I'm very in tune and tapped in with my emotions, and however I'm feeling during the month or during the day, during the week, will really dictate what I read and what I'm in the mood for reading. But I still like to have some type of structure when it comes to my reading plans, and so I just feel like having this now rebranded, I guess, into Hopefuls gives me the best of both worlds, and of course I'm still able to give you guys this type of content. Before we jump into the books that we have here, I did just want to say that because Black History Month is approaching, I do have some ideas for the type of content that I want to film and upload, and I have some books that are planned for those types of videos, and I'm not going to talk about those books in this video because I want them to be a surprise, so keep that in mind as I share this small pile of books. I would love to participate in the challenges like Blackathon, as well as just other, reading challenges that really spotlight and center books written by Black authors, but because I'm still trying to get back into the swing of things, I don't want to commit to a challenge right now or a readathon. The first book that I have here is Winds of the Storm by Beverly Jenkins. So y'all already know I had to throw in a Beverly Jenkins book in this Hopefuls video because I'm trying to at least include one Beverly Jenkins book in my monthly reading plans moving forward, because I do have plans on making a dedicated video as well as a guide to her books, but I feel like this is the perfect Beverly Jenkins book to include because I know that this book is going to have so much Black history wrapped up into it. So this book is the second book in the House of Levesque series. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, but this series follows a family known as the Levesque family, and they live in New Orleans. Like I mentioned, this book is going to have a lot of Black history wrapped up into it, and all of Beverly Jenkins books has that. I feel like when it comes to her Levesque series, she really goes in because the time period in which these stories take place are right at the end of the Civil War. In the aftermath of the Civil War, there was a lot of uncertainty as well as a lot of violence that Black people were facing due to the Reconstruction era, but also due to the Confederacy's loss of the Civil War. So there was just a lot going on during this time period. I really love the way in which Beverly Jenkins centers the Levesque family, and you really get somewhat of a glimpse into how the country was operating during this time. So going back to a point that I made earlier, this is the second book in the House of Levesque series, with the first book being Through the Storm. And you guys have probably heard me talk about this on my channel quite a bit because this is truly one of my favorite Beverly Jenkins novels to date. Even though I said Always and Forever and Nighthawk rivals this book, this is still in the #1 top spot for me. The story was so adventurous, so compelling, and the characters in the story were crafted so well. I truly felt as though both Sable and Raymond, the main characters, jumped off of the page and they felt as if they were real. I felt like I actually got to witness their character development throughout the story as well as their relationship, and it was beautiful to see. But as I was saying, Winds of the Storm is the follow-up book to that, and I honestly should have read this a long time ago because I read this book 2 years ago. I really need to keep up with series and read them close together, but I did read another book that includes the Levesque family, so I was able to reconnect with these characters. Right here on the back it says, Archer Levesque owes his life to the woman who rescued him from certain death at the height of the Civil War, a woman known only as the Butterfly. Now, in the dark waning days of Reconstruction, he needs the courageous and beautiful former spy in more ways than before. Zara Lafayette thinks her days of intrigue are far behind her until she is asked to go on one more mission. Posing as an infamous madam in New Orleans, Zara must gather information to ensure the safety of the South's freedmen. The last thing she expected was to see Archer Levesque again. He is as arrogant as he is handsome, but there is something about this dusky and debonair hotelier that sends her senses singing. Zara knows she will need to guard her secret, but no peril awaiting her compares with the treachery of Zara's own heart. For, Lord help her, she burns to taste the man and to lose herself in his powerful embrace. And I feel like the cover is definitely an indication of how steamy this book is going to get. My ring light, of course, is not letting me live. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm really excited to jump into this book. And the next book that I have here, I don't have a physical copy of, but it is Real by Kennedy Ryan. So similar to Beverly Jenkins, I am trying to make my way through all of Kennedy Ryan's books, including her backlog, and I would like to make a dedicated video to her books as well as a guide to them. So I do plan on including at least one of her books in my monthly reading plans because I really need to chip away at this TBR too. Finally reading Real. I should have read this book, and this probably should have been the first Kennedy Ryan book I've ever read, but for some some reason, I just wanted to dive headfirst into the Hoop series, but at the end of the day, I have no regrets. It's fine. Everybody that has read this book pretty much has nothing but positive things to say about it, and I always see it in a recommendations video. So right here, the synopsis says, one moment in the spotlight. For months I stood by, an understudy waiting in the wings, preparing for my time to shine. I never imagined he would watch in the audience that night. Cannon Holt, famous film director. Fascinating, talented, fine. Before I could catch my breath, everything changed. I went from backstage Broadway to center stage Hollywood. From being unknown to my name, Neva Saint, on everyone's lips. Cannon cast me in a star-studded Harlem Renaissance biopic, catapulting me into another stratosphere. But stars shine brightest in the dead of night. Forbidden attraction, scandal and circumstances beyond my control jeopardized my dream. Could this one shot, the role of a lifetime, the love of a lifetime, cost me everything?
Her synopses are so good.
And I just know that I'm going to get lost in this story and invested in these characters just like I do with pretty much every single other Kennedy Ryan book. The next book that I have is Jackal by Erin E. Adams. So I know I am super late to the game with this book, okay? Like everybody and their mother already read this and talked about it because this came out in 2022. So I am really behind. I was going to include this in a reading vlog last year for Taya's Throwtober, but as y'all know, that did not happen. I don't want to put this book off any longer, and I want to dive into it and see what my own thoughts are because I've seen a lot of mixed reviews about Jackal from so many different booktubers and bookstagrammers, and I just want to form my own opinions on this. The only things that I know about the story is that we are following a small town, and in this small town there are young black girls going missing. There's something more sinister than these just being kidnappings or disappearances. I think there might actually be a monster or some type of entity targeting and attacking young black girls. So in the flap here it says, a young black girl goes missing in the woods outside her white Rust Belt town. But she's not the first, and she may not be the last. It's watching. It's taking. It's your turn. Liz Rocher is coming home, reluctantly. As a black woman, Liz doesn't exactly have fond memories of Johnstown, Pennsylvania, a predominantly white town. Liz has grown though. She can handle herself. Plus, her best friend is getting married, so she braces herself for a weekend of awkward, passive-aggressive reunions. But she wasn't expecting that on the night of the wedding, somewhere between dancing and dessert, the newlywed's daughter, Caroline, would disappear, leaving behind only a piece of white fabric covered in blood. As a frantic search begins, with the police combing the nearby woods for Caroline, Liz is the only one who notices a pattern. A summer night, a missing girl, a party in the woods. She's seen this before. Keisha Woodson, the only other black girl in Liz's high school, walked into the woods with a mysterious man and was later found with her chest cavity ripped open and her heart removed. Ooh. Liz still shudders at the thought that it might have been her. And now, with Caroline missing, she's sure that it's not a coincidence. As Liz starts to dig through the town's history, she uncovers a horrifying secret about the place she once called home. Children have been going missing in these woods for years. All of them black, all of them girls. With the evil in the forest creeping closer, Liz knows what she must do. Find Caroline or be entirely consumed by the darkness. So yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by this book, and I'm curious to see which direction this is going to take. I'll also say Johnstown, Pennsylvania is a real place. It's actually not that far from my alma mater, Penn State. So yeah, I definitely will let you guys know my thoughts. This one is high on my hopefuls list. And the second to last book that I have here is a book that I actually already spoke about in my collective book haul video. So I will leave that linked up above in the cards just in case you haven't checked that out yet. But the book that I'm referring to is Songs of Erie by Asha Bromfield. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this because like I said, I already talked about this book quite a bit in that video, so definitely make sure you check that out. But like I mentioned in that video, I would like to read this book soon because this book actually published in 2023 and I'm pretty sure it published in the later half of 2023. So I'm really trying to play catch up and actually knock this book off of my TBR. Now this book takes place in 1976 Jamaica during a time of political unrest. So there is a war going on. And this story specifically follows two characters named Jilly and Irie. Jilly and Irie are from completely different worlds, but they are best friends. So Jilly is wealthy and very privileged, whereas Irie and her family are just trying to make ends meet and just trying to survive every single day. But Jilly and Irie's differences don't stop them from becoming friends, and more specifically best friends. And as time goes on, these two start to develop a romance of sorts. But during this time period in Jamaica, Jilly and Irie are really just trying to navigate this new normal, as well as just trying to see if their friendship, as well as this blossoming romance that they have, can withstand all of these outside factors. The last book that I have here is Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. So I know y'all, I know, not too much on me. I am so behind and I should have read this book a long time ago, especially because I think there is a Hulu adaptation of this book now. Me being me and me just being a bookworm in general, I have to read the book first. Right here it says, we can't choose what we inherit, but can we choose who we become? In present-day California, Eleanor Bennett's death leaves behind a puzzling inheritance for her two children, Byron and Benny, a traditional Caribbean black cake made from a family recipe with a long history and a voice recording. In her message, Eleanor shares a tumultuous story about a headstrong young swimmer who escapes her island home under suspicion of murder. The heartbreaking tale Eleanor unfolds, the secrets she still holds back, and the mystery of a long-lost child challenge everything the siblings thought they knew about their lineage and themselves. Can Byron and Benny reclaim their once close relationship, piece together Eleanor's true history, and fulfill her final request to share the black cake when the time is right? Will their mother's revelations bring them back together or leave them feeling more lost than ever? Charmaine Wilkerson's debut novel is a story of how the inheritance of betrayals, secrets, memories, and even names can shape relationships and history. Deeply evocative and beautifully written, Black Cake is an extraordinary journey through the life of a family changed forever by the choices of its matriarch. I love a good, complicated family dynamic in my books, so I just have a feeling that this one is going to suck me in. And I really do love the cover and the colors of this book. Alright y'all, and those are all of the books that I had to share with you in today's video. Like I mentioned earlier, there are other books that I plan on reading as well as including in other reading vlogs, so just be sure to stay tuned for those. Also, let me know down below in the comments which books you guys are looking forward to reading this month and what your Black History Month reading plans are. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me and my channel out. And lastly, please make sure you follow me on Bookstagram as well as Storygraph. I will leave all of that information linked down below, as well as at the end of the video like I always do. I will see you guys in my next video.